November 11th. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move into the acceptance of the minutes for the meeting of November 27th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Nothing under audience. We'll move to reports, monthly reports for administrators, Dr. Harrison, Ms. Shipper, Ms. Shifley, Mrs. Sheehan, guidance, Ms. Black, the nurse, Ms. Davis, and pupil personnel services with Dr. Maniglia.
4 motions to approve.
4 seconds.
All those in favor? We had the privilege to see the monthly newsletters for Eston Early Childhood Center, Phelps Elementary School, Rogers Middle School, and Rockland High School. Any questions or comments? Okay, we'll move on to our curriculum corner. We have Rockland High School Principal Dr. John Harrison presenting with teacher Julia DeCanzio for a grant for lab investigations. Welcome.
Good evening, and thank you for having us here tonight. Tonight's topic is focusing in on the science department, and just to introduce Julia and our 2 student seniors here tonight, Vivian Nguyen and Tori Hines. Before I have them come up, I just wanted to brag a little bit about the science department. It's Ms. DeCanzio's 10th year at the high school. It's her 3rd year as department head. She's done a fantastic job, not just as a teacher, but also as a department leader in the 3 years she's been at the helm. It's a department of 7. This past year for MCAS, they were 9 points above the state average, which was fantastic in biology, as well as their AP scores. They had 84 students this current year taking advanced placement science classes, and we have 4 science classes offered at the advanced placement level. So the science department is really doing a great job, not just meeting all students' needs, but also pushing the academic rigor. Tonight they're going to talk about curriculum development and the way they revamped the lab space, which I think is a testament to the science department's belief in authentic learning. So without further ado, Mr. Canzio and Vivian and Tori. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me today to present about the science department for Curriculum Corner. To just go on with what Dr. Harrison said, our focus for the past few years has really been on developing lab skills for all students, so from lower level students with high needs all the way up to more rigorous classes in the AP courses. So we've been doing that through just developing our curriculum, as well as just using more of our dedicated lab space and the equipment that we have in there, which really is comparable to nearly a college level dedicated lab space, which is fantastic. So kind of the reason why we have, focused on lab skill development is just because we along with other science teachers, nationally, believe that using lab activities enforces curriculum understanding, and that's the chance that they get to apply what they've learned in just kind of typical class settings. And so using just the materials of a lab space along with data, along with modeling and doing projects with lab, that's really what's going to improve their understanding. And like I said, our focus in the science department has been to make labs accessible to all students, whether it's a 504, an IEP, or multilingual learners, or just in general high needs students. We want to ensure that every student that comes through Rockland High School has experience developing these lab skills. And in our advanced courses, we want to make sure that the lab experiences are rigorous enough to prepare them for college and careers after that. Additionally, the 2016 frameworks that we build especially our biology curriculum on, they focus on lab skill development as well, so that's important. And the College Board either requires or recommends certain lab experiences to be had. And then this is something that we were awarded in 2020. This was before I was department head, but Angela Armstrong and Laura Stracco received a $100,000 grant to use between the high school and middle school, and that has been really important in just getting us some updated equipment, which has been fantastic. So we've been just happy to use that. This is in the program of studies, but these are just our courses that we offer. Every course that we offer is considered a lab course, just meaning that students will have regularly in each unit opportunities to apply to what they have learned in a lab class. So our two classes that are required for graduation are biology and chemistry. And then from CP honors and AP levels, we have physics, environmental science, anatomy, and then those 4 APs that are listed. And additionally, we've created 2 new half-year electives that are also lab-based, and that's bioengineering in forensic science and mechanical and electrical engineering. We haven't yet run mechanical electrical engineering. That's going to be run in the spring, so we're looking forward to that. And then we've had animal behavior, also a lab half-year elective that we've been running for a few years now. So before I continue just with some more examples, I want to introduce Vivian Nguyen and Tori Hines to just talk a little bit about their experience in the science department, because when I thought of 2 excellent science students, I thought of the 2 of them. So I'll start with Vivian.
Hi, my name is Vivian Nguyen, and in the past 4 years I've been at Rockland High School. I've since taken AP Biology, Chemistry, AP Physics, AP Environmental Science, and Anatomy and Physiology. One of my favorite classes that I've taken of all time is AP Physics, which is something that I've never really explored before, like physics in general, and I just like the concepts and the labs that we do. Particularly one that stood out to me was a pig lab that we did that focused on centripetal force. So essentially, we strung up a pig on the top of the ceiling of our classroom and had it run and spin around so that it was rotating in a centripetal movement. And I thought that was a really great hands-on experience, and I'd love to do more of that. And I think it's important for students to be involved in hands-on labs like that. I'd also did the soil lab, which we did in environmental science, AP Environmental Science, where we had an opportunity to look at porosity and permeability of soil. And I think that the opportunity to hold the soil and look at the components of each part of the soil is important for us to learn about how the soil can impact our environment. So that's why I feel that science is very important and that I really value the experiences I've had as a student here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vivian. And now I'm going to introduce Tori Hines, also a senior and excellent science student as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Tori. In my 4 years here, I've taken biology, chemistry, physics, anatomy, AP biology, AP chemistry, and AP environmental science. And of these, I definitely say that my favorite is AP environmental science, which I'm taking this year as a senior. I'd say this is definitely my favorite class because of the hands-on work we do and because of how much it connects to the real world and what we're seeing today, like climate change, global warming. Those are all topics that I'm really interested in outside of school as well as in school, so I'm really glad we get to explore that in this class. This whole class, when we're working on it, we're working on the sustainability, we're seeing what we can do as a human race to improve the world outside of school. I'm really glad that we also get to look into what we can do better as people in our communities and in the real world. In this class, just like Vivian stated, we did the soil lab. That was one of my favorites, where we got to study the different types of weathering on rocks. I thought that was really interesting because it's something I never really thought of before as a science student, and we got to work on that. I'm actually really, really excited for the future of this class for me, and it's also going to really impact my STEM major in college next year, so it's really preparing me for what I'm going to handle next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tori. So I wanted to have them on because, like I said, they have demonstrated and experienced all of the different things that the science department has offered, and they've just excelled at such high levels throughout their 4 years. This is just a list of what we as the science department decided are the most essential lab skills that every student should experience and develop by the time they finish high school. So this is the idea that in every class, every RHS student at all levels, from CP, honors to AP, will develop these skills in a variety of ways. So even if they don't perfect it as freshmen, or even if they don't perfect it on a certain lab, they have multiple experiences, multiple chances to develop these skills. So from lab safety and equipment use, we have a lot of equipment in that lab, from microscopes to centrifuges to these force carts to just things as simple as a hot plate and how to use that safely and what the purpose is for that. We want to make sure that students are having experience to all of those. Not every lab is an experiment where students themselves are designing it, but we want to make sure that at least some of the labs that they do every year have that focus where they ask a question, they develop a procedure, they determine what the variables should be, and then they analyze data and draw conclusions about the outcome. We also want to make sure they can accurately record data, both quantitatively and qualitatively. We want to make sure they can use the measurement devices that we have, from a simple thermometer up to probes that measure pH and oxygen content. And we want them to make sure that they know what a qualitative description is like. When you're making an observation, what does that actually mean? You know, not just recording what you see, but the changes that you see over time. We want them to be able to analyze data that they collect and then draw conclusions from that data in a way that's meaningful. So much of science in the real world is about making a claim about something, using evidence to support it, and using that evidence to kind of support why that claim is true. And then lastly, just about incorporating more technology as it becomes applicable. We're starting to use Google Sheets to graph rather than just using paper, using microscope connectors that connect to the Chromebook so that they can display what's on the microscope to their computer, because that's real world lab equipment. And then just like pH and oxygen probes, moving away from just the paper to what is actually used in real lab settings. So I just want to quickly go through and just show some pictures of students in all of our different levels. Pretty much every student taking biology from CP up to AP, there are a few AP-only labs on there, but they're doing these types of activities. In the top corner, we have some students doing an osmosis lab, measuring water moving from different concentrations. In the center is the picture of a microscope extender on connecting to a Chromebook so that students can look at cells without having to solely look through the microscope. And then at the bottom is a lab where students are breathing into water to provide carbon dioxide for plants to go through photosynthesis. But these are just a variety of the biology-based labs that we have. Sorry. In chemistry, we have some pictures. In the center is a calorimetry lab where students are measuring the heat released by a reaction so that they can determine the energy release of that reaction. We have some students looking at spectroscopy, where they look at the different amounts of radiation that's released and how that energy tells them what type of reaction is happening. And then in the top corner is a physical and chemical changes lab, where students are investigating what makes something a physical change and what makes something a chemical change. In physics, at the top corner, we have the centripetal force lab that Vivian was talking about. It is a fake pig. It's not a real pig that they're hanging from the ceiling, which I'm sure you deducted. But they had a blast that day. That was a fun day to just be in the science department. And then this is showing a reaction rate lab where students are using gravity to time their reaction rates. And they recently just finished up a activity where they were all building cars to follow Newton's laws of motion. In environmental science, which we offer at the CP level and at the AP level, these are some of the activities that they do. In the top corner and the left, that is the soil lab that they were mentioning, and they were making soil horizons for different ecosystems and showing how water can permeate through them, which is an indication on agriculture. It tells us about drinking water and how we're either depleting it or how it's staying in the soil, and what that means for agriculture and development. And then we do some just fun activities like competing by each lab group making a different solar oven to, of course, cook the perfect s'more. That's something that we do later when it's sunny, but showing how solar ovens are used in developing countries as well. In anatomy and physiology, which is a senior level course at the CP and honors level, we do a variety of dissections. I have the rat dissection in the bottom corner. More microscopic activities because we talk about microscopic anatomy in addition to macroscopic. And then in the center there, this was part of our grant that we received, were they're called human-to-human interface devices, where students can hook up electrodes to their arms, and the motion of their arm is transferred to the motion of a claw, which is a very basic just kind of conversation about prosthetics and how your muscles actually are working in terms of your nervous system. So that has been a fun thing that we've been able to do since getting that grant. And then I just have a couple pictures from our electives. Animal behavior in the top corner, students are using different adaptations to get food. The food are little dried nuts and pasta, and each student has a different adaptation. So one might have a forceps, one might have a spoon, one might have a popsicle stick, and they're kind of studying how that adaptation is beneficial or harmful to them. And then in the other picture, students are classifying some preserved specimen that we have based on what they had learned in class. In forensic science, this is the first time it's been run, so this fall is the first time this course has been going. Students are in this picture analyzing slides based on evidence collected, biological evidence collected, to answer questions and solve problems. And then in the top corner, students are doing a lab where they're investigating how different tools make different marks and how that can be used as evidence in a crime scene investigation. And then lastly, I don't have any pictures from students working with it because we haven't run this class yet, but we are developing it, and this is going to be kind of a half-year class, a semester class where half of the time they're looking at mechanical engineering, so things like mechanics and load and volume and mass and things like that affecting structures. And there's a popular activity where students design a structure and then test it against earthquake and hurricane damage. And then for the electrical engineering, looking at circuitry and general electric law and appliances, especially in terms of energy efficiency. And you know, we're just hoping to make this class very accessible to students, so they don't need to have a physics background to take it, but it might create an interest that they didn't know that they had. And that's the end of my presentation. I appreciate all the support that the school committee has given to the science department, because I know that we require a lot of materials, and so we always appreciate that, that we have the opportunity to offer these labs. So thank you for having me. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. I have
Sure.
a lot of comments. So I love this. I think this is amazing. So just thank you to you and your whole department. It's clear that there's a lot of work that went into this.
Yeah.
I love how specifically the labs are helping the students relate to how what they're learning in the books or
Yep.
on the Chromebook now relates to real life. That's, I think, incredible in keeping them engaged. I particularly love the electives. I think, you know, I've had the opportunity to sit at a few graduations now and have seen a number of students that go into engineering.
Yep.
So I love the fact that you're creating these essentially intro to engineering courses. That's fabulous. And I guess my questions for you are, one, what do you see the future of the science department? And number two, what do you need to continue to move things forward? Because clearly you're doing great work.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, and I'll pass that along to my colleagues too. In terms of how I see the department going, I want us to make sure that these are the classes that we continually want to teach and find the most beneficial to students and of the most interest to students. We're definitely hoping to kind of boost interest in our electives. I think students are interested, but they don't always get the chance to take it. So I'm excited to kind of develop those so that students are kind of dying to take these classes rather than feel like they're just put into them. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. And in terms of what we need as a department, I think, like I said, just kind of the continued, when students know that something's important and is backed by a school committee and backed by parents and the community and see that what we do is beneficial, then that makes our job easier because the students also buy into it. So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Anyone else? No.
Just kudos. I think having Tori and Vivian here is a testament to how many classes they've taken in the science department. I know there's only 3 that you need for graduation, so seeing the number of students that are continuing to just reach for different classes is a testament to the department.
Yeah. We're proud of the number of classes that we offer. That's definitely something that, that's a team effort because everybody has to learn new classes, and I think we're all proud of, what we've been able, the program of studies that we've been able to create.
And I think having the labs helps the student learn in so many other avenues. Some kids are really good at just reading it from the book and processing it, and other kids are not. It helps you as a teacher be able to figure out how they need to learn and how you need to sort of twist and come at them in a different angle. And like you said, it makes it relatable. They're getting that hands-on experience, and it makes it make more sense. I think it makes it easier to remember when they're going to test about it because they can visually remember what it did.
Yep.
So I think it brings it so much more alive, I'll say.
Yeah.
And I think that's kudos to you and your team for coming up with that concept of making it so important. I say this all the time, our Bulldog teachers really try to make the best for our students. They really try to think out of the box and really figure out to get each student involved and come at them as best that they can. And this is just another example of how well we have you all in our hands to be able to teach our kids. That you don't just take what you have and keep on running. You really try to master what you have and the best thing that you can do. So I appreciate that. I do think this is a great way to do it.
Thank you.
So
Thank you very
thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I just
Thanks,
want to make a comment to the 2 students that are here. They clearly excel in science and have done such great work, and so proud to have them be our students here. So wishing you both the best of luck as you make decisions about your future. I think they're in excellent hands with your department, so.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me present.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for coming. Okay. Back with the glasses. We'll move on to old business with the Phelps Elementary School update.
I have nothing to report this evening. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add.
No, nothing to report.
Okay.
We have completed fundraisers next. So we had, for the class of 2024-2025, the Powder Puff game was in November. They raised $755. Congratulations, that was a great amount for a football game. And I'm sure they enjoyed having the game and having fun. Move on to new business. We have fundraisers for approval. We have one, the class of 2024-2025 Cupcake Charlie sale in January of 2024.
Motion to approve?
Second?
All those in favor? That's a vote. And we have a homeschool application for approval. Dr. Cron, do you have anything to add?
No, I recommend approval.
Okay, any questions?
Motion to approve?
Second?
All those in favor? That's a vote. We'll move on to your report, Dr. Cron, superintendent's report.
I really have nothing. I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday. So we enter the holiday season. We're in the middle of it. Hard to believe that we're here already.
Right?
Yeah.
I agree.
Crazy.
That's all?
That's all I have.
Okay, we'll go on to public service announcements. Mrs. Hennessy?
Just a couple. Just good luck to all those involved in winter sports. The season is underway. Went to our first wrestling tournament in Situate over the weekend, so I know everyone is training hard and look forward to hearing how basketball, hockey, track everyone is doing. Term 2 progress reports, not term 1, term 2 progress reports for the high school. And I think the middle school will be coming out tomorrow or this week. So parents, please make sure you stay involved and see where your students are to course correct if needed, or to continue on if you're doing well. And then just lastly, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, what you celebrate. We wish you the best.
Thank you. Mrs. Davidson?
I would just like to add that I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season. The staff and teachers have a nice break. It's well-deserved. And that's all.
All right. Dr. Morris-Mullen?
I think yesterday was the shortest day of the year. So from this point on, there's more light headed our way. So wishing everybody a happy and healthy holiday season, lots of rest, and lots of good things to look forward to.
Great, thank you. I wanted to thank the guidance department for the Credit for Life Fair that they had last Thursday. For the Credit for Life Fair, the students, the sophomores got to sort of pretend that they were 25-year-old adult, that they had to pick an occupation, they were handed a salary with a budget, they had to get their car, an apartment, or a house, figure out furniture and groceries, and I think it's a huge life lesson as a sophomore to realize how much your cell phone costs and how much cable costs and those sorts of things, cars at that age. So I credit the guidance department for putting this on, and I believe Harbor One, Abington Bank, and Rockland Trust were also there to support our sophomores, so thank you to the guidance department. And I, the same as was going to say, happy holidays to all of those, and we'll see you in January.
Student rep.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you. I've never forgotten you before. You should speak right up. Go right ahead, Hope,
I
sorry.
don't have anything to add tonight anyways.
Oh, well, see, I knew that, I was trying to save it. No, I'm sorry, Hope, I've never forgotten the student rep, but tonight's my first. Anybody else? No. Everyone's on? All right, thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, thank you, that's vote.